That's
At 6 o'clock, we will call the Monday, July 22nd Board of Education meeting to order. First thing we'll do is the Pledge of Allegiance, so please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. First, next agenda item, the consent agenda. So I'd be looking for a motion for approval of the minutes of the June 24th board meeting, as well as the statement of receipts and expenditures for June of 2024.
So moved. Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes. Superintendent's report.
Yes, so we have, today was our first day of our final summer school session. So I want to give a thanks to all of the staff who are teaching those sessions for us throughout the summer to help our students learn and have a great time over the summer as well. So excited for summer school to start their final summer school session. A couple different things for students. We have congratulations to GHS students, Amelia Lundberg, Grace Utke, and Elena Walls. And host advisor Fran Grant, who represented GHS at the HOSA International Leadership Conference in Houston, June 26th through 29th. So appreciate Fran, who is retired, still taking on one last piece so that our students could go and compete. So Ronnie competed in the family medicine position and ATC family medicine career test and placed in the top 10. That's Carrie Wall's daughter. Amelia competed in clinical lab science, and Grace was a voting delegate for Wisconsin HOSA. So congratulations to those students and to Fran for her work with them. And there's a ribbon cutting ceremony that's going to be celebrating the opening of Kennedy Elementary's new outdoor playground, which will be held on Wednesday, August 28th at 6 o'clock at Kennedy. And then we have some back to school dates that we're excited to look towards next month, with online district registration opening on August 4th, the in-person registration and school photos being on August 19th and 20th. New teachers start on August 21st and 22nd, and then all staff in service will be the 26th through the 30th, so our all staff welcome back will be on the 26th. Elementary grade start conferences will be on August 29th and 30th, with our John Long Middle School sneak peek being on Wednesday, August 28th, and then as a reminder, we have staggered start with grade 6 and then 9 through 12 on Tuesday, September 3rd. It's freshmen only in the morning on that Tuesday, and then it's all high school students that afternoon. We're at the middle school. It's 6th grade only all day, and then we have everyone else join those grades with EC 4K through 5, 7 and 8 on Wednesday, September 4th. So some exciting things coming up over the next month as we get ready for the start of the 24-25 school year. And then our second SRO update. So after the board reviewed our current SRO service agreement and compared it to those of our neighboring communities, I did follow up with the village administrator and communicated that we believe our current service agreement is fair, and we would request that the second SRO be funded at the similar rate, at the same rate. And so as a reminder, our current service agreement is similar to those in Cedarburg and Mequon. I reiterated that the board hopes that the village board will support our students in the same way those communities support theirs by partnering with us to provide a second SRO under the current service agreement. I did receive a response from the village administrator indicating that the board is going to be getting back to us in mid-September. A number of things on their plate right now, but they're going to be looking at that and coming back to us with a proposal. He said to be looking for something in mid-September. So we will start our year with our current SRO and await further communication from the village. But Officer Alfonsi will be back this year, and we'll be working as we've done in the past, and we'll see what we hear back from them in September. So providing an update with that. And then with a construction update, we have Michelle Hammerly here from Huffman Keel to give us an update on what's been going on with our construction update.
Move to the next slide. I just want to give a brief update on where we're at. The last time we met, we were reviewing contracts. We selected C.G. Schmidt as our CM manager. We've been busy doing shareholder user group meetings. Those are wrapping up. We have a couple left this week. And we are working through a couple of design alternates as well. We also went through the Architectural Review Board, and there was no, we passed with flying colors, no issues. So we were able to proceed with the plans as is. And tomorrow we go in front of Plan Commission, and early comments that we received back, we don't foresee any issues. So that's great. And then we'll go again to plan review once our CDs are complete, end of, well, kind of mid-October. And then budget. So C.G. Schmidt provided their schematic design budget end of June, and it is right in line with what they were proposing in the referendum. So this is all very good news. They are still holding some design contingency dollars as we continue to develop the plans. So there is some cushion in there. We are also holding owner contingency dollars as well as the project continues. Let's see. The design development package is due early August, and then we will continue to develop those construction documents. We have a checkpoint in September and then again in October. And then again, as part of these design and rebudgets, we're going to be looking at some alternates as well. There's like 4 or 5 alternates that we're looking at adding to the scope of the project. And moving to the next slide, this just gives you an overview of where we're at for the budget. Kind of going line item by line item. Our professional services consists of the design, project management, quality testing, that's like our soil borings, and construction, that's where our budget is currently for the construction. We are doing some owner work right now on some restrooms, trying to get ahead of the project that Jamie's helping out with this summer. And then owner direct, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, technology, any move management dollars associated with that. And then there's that owner contingency, and that's about 5% of the total project cost, which is right in line with where we would expect to be. And then overall schedule. This is the schedule that we've shown before up here. It has not changed, which is great. We're tracking right along where we thought we would be. Like I said, Plan Commission is tomorrow. Architectural Review Board, we don't intend to go back to them. So does anyone have any questions?
The bathroom work that's being done right now, that's in conjunction with the special ed area, I believe, for the LMS?
That's being done concurrently, but it's not being tracked as part of the
Okay, that's not
referendum.
part of the spend to this one then?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we're tracking those dollars separately.
Okay, thank you.
So that's really the only work that'll be done inside of John Long up through the school year.
Well, at this point, I think as we get moving forward, there'll be opportunities for when we don't have students in, if they need to do asbestos removal or something like that, to be able to seal some things off that we've seen in other buildings that we've been toured. But over the summer, those are the pieces that we're looking at now.
Correct.
Okay.
A lot of that interior work is going to be done over the summer next year, so we won't have any issues.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, good approval, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, we thought it'd be good to have
Thank you.
Michelle come and speak through some of the pieces that we've been doing there. And then as a final item, as we mentioned earlier, there are teachers working on LBC over the summer, looking at those 4th grade traditions, the 5th grade traditions, as we look at 25, 26, having 4th and 5th grade go to John Long, and I've worked with Craig and Jill to be on their first PTG meeting in September. So I think Kennedy's on the 16th and Woodview's on the 17th. So we'll be able to share updates with parents, listen to their concerns, questions that they may have as we get ready for the transition for the students to the 25-26 school year. And as we go through these design pieces as well, we'll be able to share out the design pieces over the summer. They're already written on their summer newsletter and so forth, the pieces that we can share out with people so they can get a vision of what that will look like. But we're excited that our budget's in a good spot, and we're in a good spot as with our timeline, which we're really concerned about. And with that completes my superintendent's report.
Any questions for Jeff?
Not any questions, but just a comment. I mean, with the SRO, I mean, Topher, you've in the past talked about it being more of a community program, right? Not really a second SRO, but more of a community-based program. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that's how it was envisioned when the idea of a second SRO was put forward, that both SROs, really the program would be created as more of a community-based program where they would be involved in community events, they would be engaged with the private schools as well, so not just our students.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
One last question on the SRO is, I think we've talked about it, but when does the current cost model change for officer help funds? Is that good through the rest of this year, and then it's up for renewal or redrafting, or is that 2 years? What's the timeline for that?
It's a 6-month window of time for either party to be able to say that we want to discontinue it.
Okay.
And I can't remember if that's the calendar year or if it's our school year. I can find that out.
Okay, thank you.
I know it's a 6-month, there's a 6-month timeline, but I can't remember if that's the, July 1st or that's January 1st. If it's our calendar year or our school year, but I can find that out for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Jeff, thank you for the report. Next, we'll have public comment. Would anybody like to address the board? Name and address, please.
Thank you. I have not done this very often. Kevin Cooper, 2140 Shoshone Street. Came today, only been here a couple of times before. Came to listen in on the construction topics. Had a couple of questions when the schedule came out in the bulletin, was that last week? I personally work in the construction field. I'm a mechanical engineer. So realize some items are rather long lead time right now, more than years past, such as steel and HVAC equipment. So was just curious, I saw long lead listed up on the screen, so was curious of what's getting ordered and kind of when to accommodate those extended lead times that the industry is seeing right now. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to item C, personnel report.
Sorry. And we have 2 resignations that we'd ask for board approval for, and then we have retirements information only. We have Jennifer Aglanico, special education teacher at Kennedy Elementary School, and Annie Hellenbrecht, music teacher at Kennedy Elementary School. And then Laura Mickelson, our bookkeeper, will be retiring effective 10/4/24. So she's getting us through the third-party account and a lot of those pieces. And Laura's been with us 23 years, and has just done a stalwart in our business office, and she'll be severely missed, but she's set it up. She's been giving us plenty of time for lead time. We've posted both for her position as well as for special education teacher and the music teacher at Kennedy that were late for resignations. But we want to recognize Laura for all of her work, and it'll be 10/4 when she effectively retires. But she's said that she'll help us out in the future as well, just not on a daily basis.
Right, and interestingly enough, this would be now the 3rd referendum that she's doing the accounting for, so.
So she's picked there's some dates though that really help the new person get settled in, so they aren't going to be coming in at a hot time and trying to figure that out. So we really appreciate her timing to set the district up for success. So that's information only that we would ask for board approval for the 2 resignations.
Okay, any questions? Okay, seeing none, I will ask for a motion for the resignation of Jennifer Emrico, as well as Annie Helmbrecht. Do we have a motion to accept those resignations?
So move. Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. We thank them for their time in the district, as well as we wish Laura the best in her retirement and thank her for staying on to help Topher a little bit longer.
Appreciate that.
Item D, notice of student academic standards.
Just excited to have Julia Leeson, our new Director of Teaching and Learning, in her first official board meeting. She gets to present to the board, so we will let Julia talk to us.
Yes, good evening. I'm here today to share the standards that are going to be used by Grafton to fulfill the state statute, which requires the notifications of parents and guardians of the standards that will be in effect for the coming school year. I do want to note that the standards have not changed since Michael came to you last summer and presented them to you, but the school district will continue to reflect on the standards adopted during our professional development days, in the process of creating our 300-day plans, and during our curriculum review process. All the standards are linked in the memo that were shared with you in your board packet, and those include the Wisconsin Academic Standards for ELA and Math, the Disciplinary Literacy Standards, the Next Generation Science Standards, the ACT College and Career Readiness Standards for English, Mathematics, Reading, Science, and Writing, the National Standards for Health and Art, the WEMA Wisconsin Music Standards, and the National Sexuality Education Standards for our Human Growth and Development Instruction. So I'm here today to seek a recommendation to approve the student academic standards for the 24-25 school year.
Thank you. Any questions on the standards that are staying the same? Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. With that, I would look for a motion to accept the recommendation to approve the student academic standards for the 24-25 school year.
So move. Second.
All right, additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. Item E, GHS Athletic Activities Code Revisions.
Mr. Morris here to talk to us about that and his committee that he had looking at this.
Good evening. Last month, the participants in the previous revision process of the GHS Athletic Activity Code reconvened for further collaboration and discussion on possible modifications to our current code. I'd like to submit those proposed changes and modifications for board discussion and possible approval at this time. The first suggested changes can be found on page 3. Our previous code had an academic requirement of a minimum GPA of 2.0 with no more than one failing grade, which is checked at the conclusion of each academic quarter. The committee felt that the academic standard for students participating in extracurricular activities should not include a failing grade without a possible period of ineligibility, making the updated standard a 2.0 minimum GPA and no failing grades. Also, a new inclusion is a 5-day grace period at the conclusion of each quarter for any student receiving a failing grade to raise their mark. This would allow time for any work or assessment that may be in progress to be completed and grading to be updated by the classroom teacher prior to a probationary period. This would pertain to things like maybe a period of illness for a student, a retaking of an assessment, a project that needs to be turned in, and teachers and students and participants working in good faith together in collaboration. One final note from this page is the opportunity for students not meeting the academic standard at the conclusion of the fourth quarter to regain eligibility for the next academic year through the successful completion of summer school with administration approval, assuming that completion is done to fidelity. Just pause for a second until I move on. Good? Okay. Upon review, the committee also came to a consensus on several aspects of the definitions of types of behavior as currently defined by the code on page 4. Under first-degree violation, the proposed change goes from student-athlete/participant to simply student when referring to conduct unbecoming of a student-athlete participant. This just provides clearer, more straightforward language. Under second-degree violation, feedback from SRO Tony Alfonsi indicated that the wording of misdemeanor citation as found in the current code is not correctly used, as a municipal citation and a misdemeanor crime are of course, two separate offenses. The modification suggested by the committee is that behaviors that can rise to a municipal citation become a 2-point offense, which would not necessarily result in a period of ineligibility. Also struck from this category would be examples of this behavior, i.e. theft, vandalism. The committee feels that though an individual could be issued a municipal citation for such an infraction, a higher standard should be held to our participants in the community. So therefore, this would connect to a change under third-degree violation category, the addition of behaviors that can rise to the level of a crime, which would carry a period of ineligibility for a student in violation, which would be 5 points or 33% of their current or next activity, assuming that student's starting out from 0. This would help address potential incidents involving our student participants in the community and hold them more accountable, and help communicate the standard for behavior expectation moving forward. So with that, that would conclude the suggested changes and modifications to our code, and I'd be open to questions.
Comments or questions?
So if for this third one, Kevin, the third-degree violation, if something could rise to the level of a crime, who makes that call? Is that just you, or is there certain?
It would allow administration a larger degree of flexibility to reflect and to investigate each situation.
Would it fall under like normal, just like if it's in the high school, it'd be, I assume, Scott or Clark?
Well, if it's an in-building infraction, that would certainly be different from something that was a citation that was issued from the, let's say, the local police department.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that, and it gives, unfortunately, some of these changes, I think, put a little more burden and effort on Kevin
That's what I
to
was
make that
wondering.
determination, but
Yeah.
I think we want that flexibility
Yeah.
in there for some judgment on different situations.
That's what I was more trying to get at, who makes that determination then?
Yeah. If there's a municipal citation or something that could be considered something that rose to the level of a crime, it would allow administration to look into and investigate each situation and reflect upon those situations and assess consequences accordingly.
One other comment I would make is with the GPA and the no failing grades, the WIA standards are no more than 1 failing grade.
Correct.
And so we're exceeding what the WIA standards are, which was something, when I was involved long ago, that was one of the sentiments among the group then was we need to have higher standards for our student athletes.
And the committee doing their due diligence, our due diligence, took a look at districts around us within the North Shore Conference, and that definitely puts our academic requirements on the higher end of schools in the North Shore Conference when it comes to minimum academic standards for those participating in extracurriculars.
I have one comment/question. I like the inclusion of the 5-day grace period at the end of the quarter to allow teachers to make sure that they have all their grades in, dispute if there's something that got turned in, didn't get turned in, got recorded. But the language here makes it look like it's only for someone that has a failing grade. If we're increasing that to 2.0, could the language include that a student that's at 1.95 and needs a C minus to go to a B, C minus to go to a C or something like that, just to raise their GPA a little bit more to get to that 2-point minimum? Could they also be included in that 5-day grace period?
Yeah, and upon reflection, I think that's fair to state. There could be students that could be technically not failing a course, but not meeting the academic standard where there is a gray area, there is something in progress of being assessed or graded, and I think it's fair to state that that 5-day grace period would extend to those students too, and we could change the language accordingly within the code revisions.
Okay. Anybody have any concerns with that's like change in wording or addition to the 2.0?
So, can I ask for clarification?
Yes.
On page 3, just to make sure we change this correctly. You're talking about page 3 where it says students failing any class at any grade check will be given a 5-day grace period. To change that to say something along the lines of students
I would say any student not meeting the academic standard.
will be given a 5-day grace period.
Yes.
Something like that.
Of either the 2.0
So that would
or
encompass
the...
both of those.
Yes.
We can wordsmith it, but that's what you're looking for,
Yes.
for that to change. And all
So-
students, and to be clear, all students have a 5-day grace period as well. Like students who have straight A's and thought they should have an A, an A plus, or maybe a student has an A minus and wants an A, they do have a grace period. Teachers do grade changes. It's just, this becomes more of a hard date because that's when they become academically ineligible.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about. It's really there, it's just not formalized, and now it's formalized in the code.
Sure.
Any other questions?
just one thing for clarification then, so obviously, we're going to be at the higher side of the standards, not only for the WIA, but for the North Shore Conference. Just explain, just so that we're all on the same page, the appeals form, if there is one, how that works.
The appeals form is, if there's an appeal that a student athlete or a participant, it doesn't have to be athletics, it could be any extracurricular. It is found on the code, the same code that each individual participant signs off on before participation, and that code would involve bringing together a committee of which I would not be included on, of superintendent, principal, or designee, and a coach or advisor that's not connected to the same season as the student athlete, the student is participating in currently. That committee would meet with that student and family and hear upon the situation, reflect upon the situation, and come to a decision.
Good.
And that process has been in place.
The whole time?
Yeah.
As that means.
Yep.
Okay. Any other comments or questions regarding those suggested changes? Okay, so with that said, I would look for, thank you, Kevin, I look for a motion to approve the proposed revisions as noted, with the addition of the wordsmithing of the 2.0 to the same as the failing grade in the new athletic activity code revision.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you to your team that went through and reviews this on a regular basis. All right, F, Fund 46 transfer.
Yes, so Fund 46 does allow for boards to take action in July to essentially book a transfer from Fund 10 into 46 and book it back to the prior year. So we're already in the 24-25 fiscal year. We are allowed to take action tonight and book a transfer into the 23-24 school year. As we've done in years past, we do have some budgets with some items that have been ordered and were not yet in place by July 1st. So because they come in after July 1st, that has to hit next year's budget. So what we can do, like we've done in the past, is transfer the money from Fund 10 to 46, and then when it comes in, then we're able to pay for that with Fund 46 dollars while still booking it back to the prior year. Now, as you know, we took action last month to take the budgeted transfer from Fund 10 to 46 of about $469,000 and move it to fund balance to transfer it in 24-25 along with that budgeted 24-25 transfer. This would be just taking essentially, in this year it's involving the high school budget and the middle school budget, to take projects that are wanting to be moved forward on, or some items that were ordered, intended to be here by June 30th, but have arrived late, and still book that expense to their budget in the year it was intended. So we have a total of $17,346 that we would recommend be transferred to Fund 46 from Fund 10 in the 23-24 school year. Then in August, when we approve our capital maintenance plan, these items would be included in the capital maintenance plan for the board's approval.
Yep. Questions for Topher? Thank you for the explanation. With that, we will look for a approval of a 23-24 transfer of $17,346 to Fund 46 for the work outlined in the memo.
So moved. Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. Topher, thank you very much. G, student overnight trip request.
Yes, we have one student overnight trip request that we'd ask for board approval for. It's for Grafton wrestling for the girls' side. It's the Bi-State Girls Invitational in lacrosse. Mike Dodge is our new coach, also one of our tech ed teachers at the high school, and he is planning ahead, which we greatly appreciate. This event happens in December 26th through the 28th. It's over winter break. gives the girls a chance to wrestle in a state championship type bracket, which is important for them as they pursue their goals of reaching the WA tournament. So you can see that they have the cost of the lodging, and they have money in their existing account to cover it, and they're also going to be fundraising at the Athletic Booster Club Corn Roast, and they're running the Raptors Youth Wrestling Tournament. So we would ask for board approval for this event in December.
Any questions? All right, I would look for a motion for the Grafton Wrestling Girls overnight trip application.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. Last item here, item H, gift report.
Yes, we have a unique gift to Kennedy Elementary School from Phyllis Schaefer, the estate personal representative in charge of the Walter Henneke's estate. And Phyllis is the contact person. And it's designated towards Kennedy Elementary School. There's a John F. Kennedy memorabilia, the bust sculpture and print media artifacts in the amount of $500. And then there's an extensive collection that they are donating to Kennedy Elementary. And you can look on the back, there is a letter that Phyllis has written about the documents she'll be donating, as well as a picture of her and Dr. Gunderson in his office with the statute of John F. Kennedy. So very cool, and some of the memorabilia that goes with that. So they will go through that, figure out what the Kennedy can utilize, and then there's directions on what would happen if the elementary school would not use it. But very cool for that. So it's a restricted gift for that. And then earlier I'd mentioned the playground equipment, and exciting for the PTG at Kennedy, all the fundraising that they've been doing to come to completion of their project. So congratulations to them, and we have some more donations for that playground project. Jessica Mallon in soaring for $10,000, Robert Mallon soaring $11,000, Aunt D in jumping for $5,000, and Rachel, Kurt, Gracie, Ben, Emily, and Zoe Rush in hopping for $500. So we would ask for board approval for all of these donations.
Questions or comments? Okay. All right, with that, I would look for a motion to accept the gift report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. Thank you to everyone, and some really neat stuff for Mr. Gunderson to have. So we'll send a letter recognizing those contributions. All right, that takes us to adjournment. The Board of Education will consider a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1, subsection C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for purpose of considering 1, teacher compensation, 2, administrator compensation, 3, educational assistance and support staff compensation, 4, retirement benefits, and 5, performance-related data of the superintendent for a quarterly review. Do we have a motion to go into closed?
So moved.
Second?
We'll take a voice roll call.
Yes.
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 And yes, we are closed. Thank you.